I remember when I first saw the video on Quora, there was a guy arguing about the European cops and how differently they treated, and also the thing about white kids. The gun would never have been produced. Clearly, there's not enough training given to cops overall in this country, and especially when they're deployed into situations or areas that have minority people. There is the undoubted tendency to be more definitive. I mean, you could look online, and like I said, you could see white people wielding a machete and cops backing away, giving him, oh, he's on something. There's the infamous video of a black guy who was, I think, a mental health nurse outside trying to calm a white guy who's laying on the ground, and the nurse is trying to, and the cops shoot him from 200.
Yeah.
They shoot the black guy who's got his hands up like this, and whether it's Ma'Khia Bryant or that incident, or dozens, if not hundreds, of other videotaped incidents, it's always gun first when it involves a black person. It's always violence first rather than talking to it. And it's just a repeated pattern. And the incompetence of the training only goes so far, though, because, yes, this particular incident, the guy probably was not an out-and-out racist in the Derek Chauvin sense, but there is that immediate pull out the gun when, if he were properly trained, and if this were white people, there would that mechanism to pull out, because he sees two large black females rolling around, then there's something in him that gets scared,
and even if that wouldn't apply to this cop, that it would apply to 1,000 other cops in 1,000 other situations like this, right? Like, and I think that always kind of bears repeating, right? Because just too often people want to personalize this stuff to essentially like exonerate cops, right? That happens all the time, right? This guy is good, this guy's bad. It really doesn't even matter, right, what your personal feelings are in so many of these situations, right?
It goes beyond the rotten barrel. The constabulary in America overall, it's a rotten barrel. It's not that Derek Chauvin or this cop or any other cop is a bad seed. You could say this cop was just a scared, untrained, or unconfident cop. Maybe this was the first time he ever encountered this without a senior buddy in the car. It's the fact that the system is designed because they don't care if innocents get injured. There's the famous video of that old man during the protest last summer, the old guy with the cane who the cops push him to the ground, and he hit his head and he almost bleeds out on the ground. They don't care. There's no sense of public service or being a civil servant. It's just utterly gone. The cops think that they can do what they want and without consequences, because they do. And Derek Chauvin aside, we'll see what happens to it with his three buddies. The other girl who in Tennessee, who was shot in her apartment with her boyfriend,
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. There was absolutely no reason she should have been shot. There's no reason that the boyfriend had a gun. Well, a lot of people have guns there because they live in a crime-ridden neighborhood, and they hear people pounding. And like I said in the last time we talked about it, is that only one person out of 15 said the cops identified themselves properly as so. So if I live in a gang-ridden neighborhood, and it could be my enemies,
and much of the time it wouldn't even matter. Like plenty of times you have criminals who are identifying themselves as cops in these neighborhoods to get inside a house if this is like a drug house or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if that had been some white drug addicts or whatnot, they would have been. And there's another famous video of a white guy being shot by cops, and people say, "See, white people get shot by cops." Oh, so we have 1,200 videos of black people being abused by cops, but it all balances out because one white guy got wrongly shot. Because one white guy's life is certainly worth as much as 1,200 black people's deaths and suffering. And they don't even realize how bigoted and how myopic that even comparison is.